Good days to Doctor. I am Pang Qing Hui from Group 6 with my others group member, which is Pang Yishan, Tang Tong, and Chong Yi Bob. Would like to present our Datacom and networking project. This scenario is about the student that want to access to Common online learning system by using modem to connect to public network. Now, I would like to present how the student reach the online learning system using OSI model. There is 7 layers in OSI model. Each layer implements different functions. For students, to access to online learning system in layer 7, called application layer, they will have to prepare data in this layer. It's an interaction layer between student and computer through software application.
Then it will go to layer 6, the presentation layer that used to encode, encrypted, and compress the data that come from layer 7 and go to layer 5. In layer 5, which is session layer responsible to maintain the connection between student computer and online learning system server. It will ensure the session stay open long enough to transfer all the data being exchanged, then promptly close the session in order to avoid wasting resource. After that, it will proceed to layer 4. The transport layer will break the data into segments and add the port number of the student computer and server in segment header and transfer it to layer 3, which is network layer. In this layer, segment will break into packets and decide the IP address that can reach to online learning server in Comham College. Let's see address. Then they will go to layer 2, data link layer that will break again the packets into frames out the correct MSC address for online learning systems. Finally, in the last layer, physical layer will receive the frame from the data link layer and become bit and send out to Comham College online learning systems.
Good day, Doctor. I'm Pang Yishan and I'm going to present about subnetting calculation. So in this section, we are expecting to show the calculation on how to identify the IP address that was assigned for the online learning system server based on the information given in the project scenario. The scenario of this project can be referred to this figure above. Figure this show the logical network flow from a home network to Cobham College facilities. In this figure, a Cobham College student is trying to access the online learning system located in the Cobham College network facilities. The student is using her modem to connect to the public network before able to connect to the Cobham College facilities. From the Cobham College network, the data then was forwarded to IT center where the online learning system server is located. So to calculate the subnetting, we can use the fixed length subnet mask, which is FLSM. FLSM is a sequence of numbers of unchanging length that streamlines packet routing within the subnets of a proprietary network. A subnet can be a geographically defined local area network, which is LAN. The subnetting can be defined as below. The first step is to calculate subnet FLSM, which are assumed that LAN using IP address starts 192.168.128.0. So it is a class C, so its subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. The second step is to define the subnet to be borrowed. As the use of faculties and IT center, the required bits are 2. Since the number of required bits is 2, the number of bits to borrow is 2 also. And the subnet and host will be SSHH, HHHH. For the third steps, find the number of subnets needed. So number of subnets is 2 power n, and n is the number of bits borrowed. So it will be 2 power 2 and it will be equal to 4. Fourth step is to find the number of the subnet mask. Subnet mask is 2 bits, so we'll take 2 power 6 plus 2 power 7, which will equals to 192. So the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.192. And the fifth step is to find the total number of hosts. So the number of hosts is 2 power h, which h is the number of hosts in the subnet. So we borrowed 2 and it will left 6. So 2 power 6 is equal to 64. And the sixth step is to find the number of usable hosts. So the number of usable hosts is to take 2 power h minus 2. So 64 minus 2 will be equal to 62. And lastly, we need to prepare a addressing table. So as listed above in the table, these are the addresses that have been subdivided into 4 subnets. Next, I'm going to present about TCP IP setting manual. So in this section, we are expecting to show the calculation on how to identify the IP address that was assigned for the online learning system server based on the information given in the project scenario. So in this section, we are assumed to have correctly identified the IP address for the online learning system server. Therefore, we must produce a manual on how to configure the IP address on the server. You can use any operating system to demonstrate this task. Address of online learning system server is assumed to locate at the fifth available address of the IT center. The fifth available address is 192.168.128.197. We do not start from 192.168.128.193 because it will set up as router IP address for that subnet and become the default gateway. So it should start from 192.168.128.194 and so on. Since we assuming the online learning system server is assigned as the fifth available address and make 192.168.128.197 as their assigned IP address. So we demonstrate these steps to configure the IP address on the server by using Windows 11. So for the first step, we need to search for control panel, then click into network and internet to configure TCP IP. Next, click on Network and Sharing Center. Click on Change Adapter Setting, which is on the left side of the screen. Since I'm using my UTM Wi-Fi to connect to the Wi-Fi network, so go to the connections and click on my UTM to connect to the Wi-Fi. Click on Properties. Then find and click Internet Protocol version 4, which is TCP IPv4. Set our configuration by choosing Use the following IP address and start to configure it manually. After that, input an IP address for online learning system server that we get from question 2 subnetting calculation. So the IP address is 192.168.128.197. The subnet mask will be automatically filled in according to the IP address class. Since the IP address is class C, so the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. The default gateway acts as an intermediary between the local network and World Wide Web. The host address usually will be the same with IP address but different number in the fourth octet, and that number will also be 1. So the default gateway is 192.168.128.193. For the preferred DNS server, generally we will use the same address as default gateway, and it is 192.168.128.193. And for alternate DNS server, we will use Google DNS server. So it is 8.8.8.8. After completed, click Validate Settings upon exit, then click OK button. Click OK button in the Wi-Fi properties pop-up window. Lastly, test the internet connection using command prompt. Type in ping 192.168.128.197. The connection is successful if the data is fully received. So that's all from me. Thank you.